I think it's important to note that at the end of the parable of the prodigal son, in Luke chapter 15, you've got the older son who never left his father's house. He never left his father's estate. And he's frustrated and he's upset and he's jealous because the younger son who got the inheritance, and it was given to him because he boldly, audaciously went right up to the father and said, "Father, give me my share of the inheritance." And so he takes the inheritance, the father gives it to the younger son, and the younger son, as you know, as the story goes, he squanders the inheritance, the wealth, in wild living. And at the end, he's restored. He comes back into his father's household. He's restored as a son, not as a servant, but as a member of the family, a member of the household. And at the end, the older son is frustrated and he's upset because there's this party going on. There's this celebration going on for this younger son who's messed everything up. And he wasted the inheritance. He sinned and he did all the wrong things and the wild living and all that. He blew it all. And then he comes back and now there's a party for him. And the older son's like, "Dad, what's up? Like, how did that happen? Like, how could this be? Like, all these years I've slaved, serving you, never once disobeying one of your orders. And yet this son of yours who wasted your wealth and wasted his inheritance on wild living, you kill the fattened calf for him. And you throw a party for him, and you give him a robe and sandals and all this stuff. You put a ring on his finger." And at the end, the father says to the older son, he says, "My son, I am always with you. I am always with you. And everything that I have is yours." But we had to celebrate and be glad. For this son of mine was dead and now is alive. He was lost and now he's found. But the statement that I want to highlight here is, "My son, I am always with you, and everything that I have is yours." You know, too many times Christians, believers, we don't think those thoughts. We don't, maybe we're not throwing a temper tantrum out in the back while the party's going on. Maybe we're more mature than that. But so often, if you boil it down and maybe remove some of the emotionalism attached to that moment, we're serving and we're slaving, and we've got this mindset and this thought that says, well, all these years I've been serving. All these years I've been doing what Dad wants me to do, and I haven't gotten anything for it. And the problem isn't with God. The problem isn't with the inheritance or its availability thereof. The inheritance was right there. The younger son didn't do anything and stepped right into it through boldness and started to grasp hold of it. The problem's not with the inheritance, and the problem's not with the father. The problem is in our mindset towards those things. If you think and believe that you're nothing more than a worker, a slave, and a servant, and you're somehow less than an heir, if you think you're less than a son, gender neutral, if you're less than a child of God, then you're thinking the wrong thoughts. You're thinking thoughts that are beneath where you really are. And God he's so interesting about this revelation because he wants us to have an expectation that allows us to go therefore boldly into the throne room of grace and get help in our time of need. He wants us to have freedom and confidence as we approach God. So I'm quoting various passages from the Bible, from New Testament. That last one, freedom and confidence as we approach, that's Romans 5. Boldly approaching the throne room of grace, that's Hebrews 4. But I'm quoting these ideas, and I'm hoping that they're clicking in your spirit. They're ringing true in your heart because it's the Word. It's the Word of God. It's not the word of Tim. I'm quoting what God has spoken over his kids, over his people. And he wants us to have a boldness and even an audacity and I don't know, Eden's not confused at our house. She knows she owns the place with us. Doesn't mean she doesn't ask for permission for certain things. There's boundaries and there's lines, and it doesn't mean there's no principle. There's no order. But she's not confused. She knows that she's a child in that household. She knows she's part of the family. There's no confusion there. And so it creates a response that says, okay, I'm an owner, I'm a possessor, I'm an heir, I'm a participant, I'm a partner, I'm vitally connected to this larger thing that I didn't even have to earn because it was given to me as birthright. And so you've got to understand, you know, the scriptures, it talks about how we're a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a special people unto God. These are all passages, and it's funny, it's out of, what is that from? That's from 1 Peter, I believe. Nobody's going to help me. I think it's from 1 Peter, but it's actually quoting all these different ideas from the Old Testament, Exodus, Leviticus, Isaiah. It's all in there